Hi, hello everyone. How's it all going? I'm James Bradley. Welcome to my man cave. I hope you guys can all hear me okay. Quick check on the sound to the team that are currently in the chat room. If you guys can hear me, just let me know. Let me know if you can hear what's going on. Yep, live start now, Tamil. That's correct. We're ready to go. I'm moving the chat over onto this screen. I've got two screens, one here and one there. Let me just turn the sound off on my... Yes. There we go. So that sounds okay there, so that's good. I've got a little bit of feedback, but that's okay. Just making sure everything's all right. So yeah, thank you very much and welcome to our COVID-19 at-home based workshop, the very first one we've done. This is my home. This is actually my daughter's bedroom, which is being semi-converted into my man cave. This is a Japanese blind that's currently blocking out all the various paraphernalia that my child has, teddy bears and pictures and hot air balloons and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll get down to it. I mean, the main reason that we're going to be streaming every Friday these sorts of workshops is because we want to make sure that filmmakers that are kind of stranded and at home under lockdown and all that sort of stuff during these really crazy times, they can get as much knowledge from our knowledge pool as possible. I'm gonna confess, I'm not gonna say that we're absolutely right in everything that we say. This is all just based on our experiences. So things that we've noticed from filmmakers, certain mistakes, certain successes, stuff like that, things that have come through our platform and have helped us to kind of understand the kind of journey for a filmmaker. So to understand the journey from making your very first film all the way through to getting your feature made, and how festivals in that kind of arena play their part. So we've been a film festival, as probably most of you guys know, we've been a film festival network for over 10 years. I'm James Bradley, I'm one of the co-founders. I set up the company 10 years ago with my best buddy, Ben Polman, who hopefully will be in the chat room shortly. He and I created London Liftoff initially, and it went from strength to strength. We very recently sort of started the migration onto online screenings because we feel that there's not enough true indie content on the likes of Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff like that. So we're trying to do as best we possibly can to reach new audiences with the kind of work that people like yourself are making. So it's really, really important to us that we, as a film festival, support filmmakers after the festival experience itself. You'll find as we sort of venture into this discussion today that a lot of the just moving the chat room across there, a lot of the successes that have come from the work that we've done have actually been through filmmakers being very self-sufficient, filmmakers making sure that they can actually find their audiences themselves. It's always kind of been the case with that. It's never really festivals kind of positioning filmmakers. And I want to show you a few examples of that actually happening in real life, and what people can do to kind of push through that. So without further ado, let's start. Here we go. So this is how to achieve film festival success, presented by James Bradley. That's me, Liftoff Global Network co-founder. And yeah, here we go. So the number one thing you must remember, first of all, is that we have filmmakers that have come through our platform that have achieved great things. These are the filmmakers that we've given either world premieres to, big exposure to, and they've actually gone on and done really, really well. I'm just highlighting 3 today, but there are many, many, many filmmakers that have done great stuff via the Liftoff Global Network. We're not taking personal responsibility or professional responsibility for their success, but we have learnt from their lessons. On the left here we have Brian Jordan Alverez. Brian Jordan Alverez, with my little squidgely thingy on here. He's a filmmaker that came to us at the very first London Liftoff Film Festival back in 2011, I think it was. And he created a short film which originally, by one of our judges, got a 1 star out of 10. We had a starring system back then. We now go a lot deeper than that. But originally for the first London Liftoff, it was 1 star out of 10. And we were kind of doing cherry picking of our various judges. and we read the review that the judge had made for the film, and we thought, well, it sounds quite interesting, this film does, but they've only given it 1 star. And they gave it 1 star because the camera language wasn't on point. The technicality aspects of it weren't really there. And I believe the filmmaker judge at the time said that it was clear that not enough money had been spent on this. And that was something that really sparked our interest. They said that the story was good, the acting was great, but not enough money had been spent on it. So we looked at Brian Jordan Alvarez's first film. I can't remember the name of it again. You are what I want, or You Are What I Want, something like that, by what I can remember. And we saw his content at that time, and we said to ourselves, like, this is something that we believe is a hindrance in the film landscape. We actually think that there's a lot of snobbery, not to pinpoint that particular judge necessarily, because they had their own opinion, and that's completely fine and totally valid. But when myself and Ben reviewed this judge's review of Brian's specific short that he had made, we felt that judge on that occasion had made a mistake, and we put the film through, and it went on and did very, very well at our festival. It went on to do very well at other festivals as well, and since then Brian has catapulted himself onto Will and Grace as an actor. There he is there with Will and Grace. He plays Jack's boyfriend in it, and he's also created some fantastic YouTube content as well. Details of which are in the description below, so you can check out the link to his work in the description below and see what it's all about. And he's a very unique filmmaker. He's a very actor strong. He doesn't really care about the money that's been spent on the actual film itself, which I think is fantastic personally. I think that when you do everything right that costs nothing, then you're an artist in your own right. You're not necessarily an engineer. Anyone can engineer a fantastic film or a fantastic look. They can't necessarily engineer a fantastic story. So it's really important to remember these key points, and Brian Jordan Alvarez is a fantastic example of that. Next on this trio is, I say the trio, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple people, is Calum Macdiarmid. Calum, again, very first London Liftoff Film Festival. He came to us when he had just got signed by a production company called Great Guns. Great Guns are a production company based in Camden in London, and they do music videos primarily, and they outsource their directors to get really rad and really cool content made. Back in 2011, these guys were really prolific, and Calum was one of their shining examples of awesome filmmaking. I've stuck Calum's Vimeo link in the description below for you to check it out. He also had, I think at the time, he was signed with Curtis Brown, and he went on to do fantastic work, and you can see the sort of things that he's done since being with us at the festival. Again, I'm not saying that being part of London Liftoff was the reason why these people were successful, but it shows that with certain attitudes and certain exposure to certain screening opportunities, you can achieve quite a lot of things. And Calum's a great example of that. Now a working director and making money from making films. And here on the far right hand side, it's a very recent success. This was back in, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago for the Oscars. Best short film, The Silent Child. Rachel Shenton and Chris Overton won that. They got the Oscar for that. Chris was the director, Rachel was the producer and the leading actress in it. They're actually a couple as well. And yeah, they came to us in the first time filmmaker showcase. So they turned up at Pinewood Studios for the screening. We gave them some advice on what to do with their film and what to do with different things. Told them to definitely apply for Oscar qualifying festivals, and they did. And there you go. They won an Oscar. Since then, I believe they're going on to create their own drama school, which is quite interesting. It's a really interesting one, this, because when you win something like an Oscar as a short filmmaker, it's not necessarily going to guarantee you filmmaking success. You are Chris Overton, Oscar-winning director, but the industry doesn't necessarily see it like that, and it's something that people need to really understand before they start this journey into film festivals and beyond, because success is a very personal thing, and everyone takes to it very differently. And what success might be to you might be very different to what success might be to Chris Overton and Rachel Shenton, for example. And it's really key to think about this. And it's something that I want everyone to kind of think about this, watching this, is like, what is a film festival actually for me and for my work and for the audiences that are engaging with my work? because a festival experience for you will be very, very different to a festival experience for somebody else. Even if your films are very similar, even if your audience is kind of similar, the two things can be different things based on your attitude towards it and based on your idea of success and what it is you actually want to achieve from your festival screening. Okay, so yeah, exactly. So what is success to you? Really important to think about this. Success to me, success to me is to have a business that helps people, that makes money, obviously, and that enables me to employ people and travel and have an opportunity to really, really get people to watch fantastic work that's being created. When we first started the Liftoff Global Network, myself and Ben had various ideas as to why we were creating the festival. On one hand, from me as a short filmmaker at the time, I wanted to kind of spy on the marketplace and look at what was being created, but also to celebrate the filmmakers that we believed in as well. Very quickly, within the first few weeks, it became so apparent that I was nowhere near the kind of level that I thought my peers were at. They were miles ahead of me in terms of talent and in terms of application to storylines and all that stuff. It really was a wake-up call to me, and enabled me to actually take a step back and say, do you know what? Actually, being a filmmaker is a fantastic pursuit, but I feel like giving them a platform is even better for me and my soul personally. So that was kind of where it came from in that regard. And I know that Ben has a very similar story to that as well. But yeah, ask yourself that question. What actually is success to you? Is it holding an Oscar in your hand? Is it getting back at your ex-girlfriend? Is it getting to a place where you feel like you're earning enough money from the work that you're doing that you can sustain your family? Or is it something else? Is it something more? Is it something less? Is it something that really kind of resonates with you and keeps you motivated? It's really important to know what success actually is before you can start asking other institutions like festivals to give it to you. So it's a very important point. Is it being as part of the Liftoff Season Awards, or is it being part of these two less well-known festivals, Sundance and Cannes? So how is this realistically matched to the work you are creating? So it's really important to remember that what is it that you're trying to achieve, like the success that you want, and how does that match to the work that you're actually creating right now? Are you at that point where you just need the right person to watch that particular work that you're doing, and then that's what's going to help propel you forward? Is that how you see it? Or do you think that your work is maybe 2 or 3 short films away from being where you need to be? How do you gauge that, and how do you actually create those parameters in your mind, and how can you genuinely collect that information? The most important thing I would always say is that you must always attend as many festivals as possible, and think about how it compares to the work by everyone else in your situation. So look at your peers, look at people that are in the same situation as you, that have the same amount of money as you, that have the same sort of resources that you do, and then look at the kind of films that they're making. You can't watch those films on Netflix. You have to venture out. You have to attend more festivals. I mean, how many people are actually out there trying to do what you're trying to do, and what are they achieving? So you may watch The Silent Child by Chris Overton and Rachel Shenton. Link is in the description below. You may watch that and you might think to yourself, I'm about 3 or 4 short films away from that right now. So what do I need to achieve to get to that? You might think to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm exactly at that level. I can definitely command actors that way. I can definitely source locations that way. I definitely have the kind of resources available to me to make a film like this. So realistically, I could actually make an Oscar-worthy film, an Oscar-worthy short film. So how do I do that? How do I get to that? How do I get to where they've gotten? It's really important to look at those parallels and to look at films that are being created by your peers and to really understand the core aspects of what they've done in order to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. So it's really important to ask yourself these fundamental questions. And where does this success go? What's the next level? What actually is the next level? Is it the next Steven Spielberg? No, it isn't. That's definitely not the next level. Is it getting to where Calum Macdiarmid is right now. So a working director with an agent and getting shoots on music videos and getting jobs and commercials and everything else that comes with that. Is it being what Brian Jordan Alverez is? So being on YouTube and having a million hits on certain videos and doing really well in that regard and getting parts on big shows, or is it something else? What is behind that success? What is actually in that level? Is it screenings? Is it getting more screenings? Does it mean that your film reaches more audiences? Is it awards? Does it mean that your work wins awards? Is that what you want? Is that the next level for you? Is it a career? Is it getting work and earning money and feeding your family? I mean, it's really important to remember that success can go into certain places, and it can live and breathe and move forward. This is a really good example, I think, of someone that I feel is it's a great story that gives people an understanding as to what the festival success will do and what winning an Academy Award will do after the life of the success. So this is a kind of a profile, I suppose, of Luke Matheny. So Luke Matheny created a film, God of Love. He won the Academy Award for Best Short Film Live Action. He won the Aspen Short Fest. He won the Heartland International Film Festival. He won the Student Academy Award, and he won the Williamstown Film Festival and the Woodstock Film Festival. Sorry, I keep doing this because I've got the camera right in front of the screen where I'm reading. Kind of a bad idea, but I've not got much space. So we'll just have a little look at this. Oh, that was a very interesting speech. He stood up on stage, he thanked everybody, and I would say that Luke charmed the crowd. In that crowd were many Hollywood producers. Many people outside of Hollywood were watching it as well. So production companies all over the world would have been at this guy's door, you would think, to try and give this kid a chance. This was his moment, right? This was his moment. So he came across incredibly charismatic, came across quite sweet, and this is where he is now. So if we just go click through on this. So he's now a TV director, and his credits from 2018 to present is Black Jesus. He did 2 episodes directing that. He directed God's Team, The Compton Crusader, Ghostwriter TV series 1 episode, A Ghost in Wonderland Part 1, The Dangerous Book for Boys TV series 2 episodes, The Trojan War 2018, and How to Be an Explorer 2018 as well. So this is Luke's career. He won that Oscar back in 2013. This is where he is right now. Is this the path that you thought he would be on? Is this what he would have done? Is this what you think you would have done if you'd won an Oscar and won all those festival awards? It's really important to understand that what success actually is for a filmmaker is a list of these TV shows that I'm definitely not knocking this at all, because I know that this is a great career for a filmmaker. But I don't genuinely believe that many filmmakers truly understand that this is actually the route. This is where it is. This is where your career will go as a filmmaker. You will end up doing TV director credits on shows like this. See how many of those shows you've actually heard of, and ask yourself that question: is this what I want from my success? And if this is what you want from your success, then that's absolutely fantastic. But you need to understand that this is where it's at. The reason why I highlight this in particularly is because there are so many letters that Liftoff gets from filmmakers that tell us all the time that they're the next Scorsese, that they're the next Quentin Tarantino, that they're gonna change the face of cinema, and that we should definitely screen their work. Never have we ever heard a filmmaker say, I just want to make money from the work that I create. I think this is perfectly admirable. I think Luke's career is fantastic. And I think that a lot of people need to really manage their expectations when they think about the film industry, the film and television industry especially, because this is where you will likely end up doing TV shows. And if you want to, and it's totally, utterly awesome that you do that. But it's important to know that this was the success that happened for Luke. So it's very good and very important to point that out, I think. So where does this success go? So who are you making films for? Who are they for? What are you making films for yourself? Are you making films for a particular type of audience, a particular type of association, people that are suffering in the world, people that are not suffering in the world, people that are finding life difficult, people that aren't? I mean, there's all sorts of reasons and elements as to why we're making films. And I think that if you if you establish creativity within yourself and you have a creative honesty and you say, right, I'm doing this because I want to make money, or I'm doing this because I want to reach new audiences and change the face of cinema. If you can be honest with yourself, then you can start to really investigate the true stories of where that's actually happened. And then you'll be able to get a gauge inside your head, a realistic gauge of whether or not it's worth pursuing and whether or not it's worth you actually hunting for that particular lion. You know, it's a really, really important point. And I think that many filmmakers overlook this quite a lot. They don't necessarily think that much about who they're making films for. So it's important to know that. And with this goes hand in hand with festival success, because what you will essentially do is that you will start making films for particular types of audiences, and then you will be informing the festivals of those particular types of people that you're looking to get to watch your film. If we were to have a film about someone that was in a situation regarding 1950s automobiles, for example, and they sent us their film along with a cover letter via Film Freeway, the normal route, and they said to us, like, our film covers XYZ of car thingies, and it's all about this and it's all about that. Here are the associations that we have contacted about the directing of this shoot, about the purpose of this film, about the people that are involved in the story, and these are the responses that we've had. And we feel that a screening at your festival would make sense because those people exist in your town, and here they are. Films that come with audiences tend to do extremely well at festivals because festivals need bums on seats. Festivals need people in the cinema. And if you can bring people to the cinema with you, then it does really well. A few years ago when we had Liftoff in Vancouver, we ended up screening a really great film called Ken Foster, which was a documentary about an addict that was an artist living on the streets of Vancouver that would sell his paintings for a very small fee, but it ended up creating an artist collection frenzy across Vancouver. He had the filmmaker had tons of people from the local community turn up and buy tickets, and we sold out very quickly, and we were screening in a very large cinema space. I think we had almost 400, potentially 400 people there. It was quite an experience. And prior to that screening, we screened a couple of shorts just to piggyback off the success of this particular film. And it's important that we shared the culture and had that experience for the audience that were there. And I bet you, I'm almost positive that half that audience were surprised by the quality of the content and would definitely go to another film festival again. And those people came because the filmmaker diligently did as much as he possibly could to get as many people that were excited by that artist to attend that festival screening. And had he not done that, it wouldn't have been a successful screening. It would have just kind of fell flat on itself. But from the back of that, we had photographs of lots of people turning up. We had all the metrics for the people that were there, so the email addresses of people, all that sort of stuff. And then we took that film to the Cannes Film Festival and met a sales agent there and helped that film get distribution. And it was all off the back of that filmmaker's understanding of who their audience were and how to get hold of them, and then which festivals they needed to show that, which festivals they needed to send their work to that would help the audiences come to that work. So always try and find your audiences first. Communicate very clearly to the festivals that you're trying to screen at that you found those audiences, and make sure that is the riding message forward. And that's really how the success will come, especially if it's an audience-based awards platform, because if you bring lots of people to a film and it's audience awards, they're going to tend to be more biased towards your film. I hate to say it, but that's kind of how it works on an audience awards platform. With Liftoff, it's very different. We do anonymous scorecard testing, and then we put it to our judges and get the feedback and send that to the judges. But there are a lot of festivals out there that do the person that gets the most votes wins. But yeah, let's have a little look at that if you can. It's really important to know where you're going, what you're doing, and what the awards are actually what the awards are for and where they're coming from. So what's going to stop you from doing the less sexy work in order for you to achieve this? Okay, so a really important point is that the less sexy work in order for you to achieve this. So what you've got in your head as this success is, I've made a film now, so I want to get it out there. Getting it out there is probably one of the hardest parts for filmmakers. Getting the film made is also very hard. From my own personal experience, and I want to go down this road a little bit, for my own personal kind of experience that I've had, it's really, really important to remember that you're not one film, and that the film that you're currently working on will be the only film that you'll be thinking of, and should be the only film that you're thinking of. And if you're not taking it to the next level, if you're not thinking about making more after that, then that's totally fine. But there should always be some kind of plan, and losing creative momentum is something that can be really, really sticky, especially if you're not finding the success that you think you deserve, and if you're not even getting off the pre-production stages because things happen. It's really important to remember that you're not one film, and that you are several films, and you can do more, and you can continue to work and continue to get better at it. I've been victim to it. I really have. Here we go. So yeah, in 2018, I wrote a script and pre-produced a short film titled "Work in the Soul." It was going to be the third film that I was going to make that year. I had planned to make 6 films that year. The production was scheduled to last 2 days, filming at my uncle's farm in Norfolk on the eastern side of the United Kingdom. Everything was ready. We had everybody's commitment, cast, crew, and all of the equipment we had managed to get for free. And then on the morning of the shoot, the weather was forecast to rain non-stop for the entire 2 days. Not just rain, I mean biblical rain. It was torrential. The rain just would not stop. From 6 o'clock in the morning all the way through to Monday. We had to call the shoot off. The production was completely called off, and it was a really big stumbling block to me. Having everybody there and losing it at that stage, losing the production at that stage, really took my step back. My creative momentum fell off a cliff. And because it had been cancelled directly after the admin and begging aspect of the production, so the pre-production side where you're doing all the administration, you're getting everybody together, I felt jaded. I completely felt jaded by the process, and my entire attitude towards short film and making short film completely changed. But you know, I should have altered my plan to make 6 films and just making this one film. My idea of success was warped, and ultimately it was what stumped me. It was my stumbling point. It was really, really difficult for me that year. I found it really hard. I'd made a short film before this one, and I'd sent it off to several festivals. It hadn't got into many. It got into a couple. But the ones that it did get into, I was really pleased about and really chuffed. And then I went and had a look at the festival, kind of like, not really. I didn't go to the festival. It was on in California, and I was based in London at the time and had hardly any money. But my ego was propelled towards this grand plan of making 6 films. It was important to do that. It was very important for me to have a set idea as to what I wanted to do. But because I didn't have any idea in my head about the potentials of the production being called off, of the potentials of the production not actually going anywhere and not actually doing anything, I was like surprised that we didn't make the film. And that, it's weird. It's like my subconscious completely lost its momentum, and I can see that happening with filmmakers when they don't get into film festivals. Film festivals are hard to get into, and it can happen. You can send a film off to several film festivals and get in nowhere. So the idea is that you want to try and like mitigate that risk. You want to try and like level that risk off as best you possibly can, so you're not getting tons of rejections. You're just giving yourself the best possible chance to get into festivals. So it's really important, and it's so important I've put it all in capitals. Become more responsible with your enthusiasm for gaining knowledge to better equip your output as an artist. What I mean by that is in this scenario, you need to go to film festivals. You need to watch content on film festivals that are online. You need to see what's being selected. You, not just your films. When your film's being selected in a festival, don't just go to the festivals that you get into. Go to other festivals and see the work that's being made by your peers. You don't it's really daft if you just go to all the festivals that you get into, because you're going to have a very limited view on what's available to you. I know it's really hard right now during the current climate, but there are options available to you beyond Netflix, beyond Amazon Prime, and you can go and actually watch. You can go online and watch films and gain knowledge based on what people have done and how they've done it, and then you can see like the success that that filmmaker's had up until that point, and you can draw comparisons and look at the parallels that happen between the two things. It's really important to know what your peers are making, how they're doing it, and also as well, it's important to help them and reach out to them and contact them. You know, there needs to be more community. There needs to be more networks within our industry at this level in order for everyone to achieve the kind of level of success they feel that they deserve, realistically so. So the filmmakers that rise from the dust are always those that do as much as they can to better understand their industry. Definitely. Attend more film festivals. Yep, that's what you've got to do. Okay, so 2 online festivals screen in various categories of projects by people in similar positions to you. So the First Time Filmmaker Sessions March 2020 is currently live right now, the details of which are in the description below. You can get the link for that. They are there. Also, next week we have the Manchester Liftoff Film Festival online that's going to be launching as well. The live screenings for Manchester Liftoff have been postponed to later in the year, but the online festival is roaring and ready to go. We're getting films in every day whilst we build the programme. We can't wait to share them with you guys. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and we really, really want your opinions. You can go on here, you can purchase the Vimeo showcase for a nominal fee, and it will then enable you to actually vote and give detailed voting for each of the films. Really, really important for you to get a great understanding as to what Liftoff is actually doing. The sessions aspect is of the sessions filmmakers. This is where we do a much broader range of films. So there's films from all over the place and films with various different budgets from top to bottom and inside out. The Manchester Liftoff Online Festival is a little bit more of the sort of festivals that we would screen in theatres. So more of the festivals that have slightly higher budgets and are kind of like within the realms of reality. So budgets ranging from anywhere from like $500 all the way up to say $50,000. We screen them all in together based on the parameters of good acting, good storytelling, and good post-production. When I say good post-production, I mean good actual editing of the dramatic content. Also, there's documentaries, there's animations, and there's music videos as well. And it's all exclusively on Vimeo on demand. Okay, links are in the description. Dates and links in the description below. So, yeah, create a mission plan. Really, really important to try and get yourself into festivals like ours, and like the festivals that we mentioned at the beginning, the 2 small ones. I think it was called something called Sundance and maybe Cannes. It's really important to create a mission plan, okay? And make sure that this is obviously after COVID-19. Some of this will be relevant to staying indoors, and some of this will be relevant to going outside and going to other venues to actually watch festivals in their physical environments. Search for the local film festival screenings in your area and attend them. There should be a festival anywhere. I mean, there's festivals all over the planet. Film Freeway has nearly 4,000 film festivals on its platform. There should be a festival near you. If there isn't, there will be ones online. Volunteer some of your time to help others in their projects. This is a really, really, really important point. You can't be a filmmaker in this industry at this level looking to grow unless you help others. Help other filmmakers get their projects off the ground. You can do millions of jobs because you're a director at this level. That's kind of the way that it works. So find other filmmakers in your communities. Find them, help them, teach them to be better filmmakers. Help them to help you become a better filmmaker. Just volunteer your time as much as you possibly can, within the realms of sanity, obviously, but to help people get their scripts into reality. Engage with filmmakers whose work you find similar to your own. So that's kind of beating off the second point as well. So engage with those filmmakers, write to them, email them. If you see a film that you watch at a festival and you think, oh my goodness, that's excellent, meet up with them for a coffee. Try and find them in the audience. Talk to them. Build your network. It's so important that you do this. It's really, really important that you do it. Rebel Without a Crew, the Robert Rodriguez book, which talks about El Mariachi, which is his first film that later became readapted and it then became Desperado. That book, it really does show, when he goes to Sundance and he meets Quentin Tarantino, it really shows the power of networking and the power of actually meeting people that you creatively connect with people and kind of understand things. There will be filmmakers out there that will have really good festival experiences that they will want to share with you, and you can share with them the festival experiences as well. It's very, very important to go through that process and understand what they've done, how they've done things, and why it's so important that you gain that knowledge as well. So engage with filmmakers whose work you find on the next run up from yours. So things like Vimeo staff picks, I've just seen this come through. Somebody saying I'm an amazing fan. So Natalie's saying she's an amazing fan of Vimeo staff picks. Yep, that's a very, very good point from Natalie there, our general manager at Liftoff. Find work that's on the next run up from yours. The next 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 runs up on the platform, or on the platform in the filmmaking sphere. So if you see things and you think to yourself, oh yeah, that film is maybe 2 or 3 shorts away from me, contact those filmmakers and say, I'm a filmmaker, I've made shorts that aren't anywhere as good as yours, maybe they're 2 or 3 shorts behind yours, but I want to help. I want to help you in your next project. I want to meet you for a coffee, chat about what your next project is, and I would love to help out. You will only learn, and that's the most important thing. Education. Harking back to my original point back here. Where are we? Can we go back? No, we can't. I've moved my mouse. Harking back to my original point. Whoop. Here we go. Where is it? My original point. Become more responsible with your enthusiasm for gaining knowledge to better equip your output as an artist. Remember that. It's in bold. Become more responsible with your enthusiasm. So become more responsible with you being enthusiastic towards gaining knowledge to better equip yourself as an artist. Okay? Attend more film festivals. Go here. Watch these. Okay? Very important. Create a mission plan after COVID-19. Yep. Here we go. Where do we get to? Engage with those. Yep. Here we go. Engage with filmmakers whose work you find on the next run up from yours. Yes. Next. Engage with filmmakers who you find inspiring. Now, you're not going to necessarily get a reply from Quentin Tarantino, but you might get a reply from his first AD. You might get a reply from his second unit director. You might get a reply from one of the actors that played a small part in one of his films. You might get a reply from one of his producers. You might get a reply from the filmmakers that have made films on Netflix that you really liked. Always send letters, never send emails. A handwritten letter, if you've got good handwriting, or a signed printed letter to someone, it's hard to ignore that nowadays. It's hard to ignore letters through the post. It's a really sweet way of engaging with people. How you get hold of them, you can go through the respective agent for that particular artist, or you can write to the production company that they work for or own. Those are kind of ways of getting through to them. In the UK, you can use Companies House to get the postal address of that particular person. There's several ways of doing that. Maybe pop some questions in the comments if you're trying to get hold of certain people, and the Liftoff staff will be able to help you out with that. We're definitely able to help find addresses for people. We won't post them publicly, of course, but we will be able to help you, definitely. So leave some messages in the comments below, and we'll be able to engage with you with regards to that. Discover true indie film content online. Full stop, because there's another point after this. Pay for it and share it. Yes. If we're just watching free content by people like you, then that's going to be the habit of the industry at our level. And I believe personally, because my business relies on it so much, of course, I'm going to be completely honest with you about that. I believe honestly that the work that you create should be paid for, and you should be getting the money for it. So if you release a film online, if you release it personally online and it's using you and it's at your expense and you market it, you should be getting money back for it. It cost you money to make it, so you should be getting money back for it, especially if audiences are going to it or you found your audience. So I think that filmmakers need to be a lot more smart when it comes to this kind of thing. You should be paying for other filmmakers' work, and when you do, you should be sharing it. And the same way around. If 5,000 filmmakers came to watch your film and they all paid $5, you'd make some money. If that filmmaker then went to go and watch somebody else's film, if you went to go and watch someone else's film and join another 5,000, they would make money. The message here is that filmmakers are the initial audience. And if you guys are paying for the content to watch your peers work, everybody else will. So stop putting it online for free and start paying for the content and start charging for your content. It's really important, because when we've done that, when we've achieved this, and this is a big personal mission of mine, it's crazy, but I genuinely believe we can do this. If we can create an actual monetized level within this industry, then you can make films how you're making them right now, and you can get paid. And it will start with you. The buck is with you first and foremost. You are the audience that will go to other filmmakers and pay for their work. So lead it from the very beginning. The fringe theatre companies of the UK, right now they're suffering, but prior to this crazy period of COVID-19, they were supporting one another. The Edinburgh Fringe Festival, for example. I'm not saying that these people make tons and tons of money, and I'm not saying that you're going to make tons and tons of money, but at these particular events, at these particular theatre companies and theatre venues, the people in the audience are people that work within theatre. It's a self-sustaining, self-supporting model. And it's something that I think the true indie filmmaking landscape needs to be, especially if it needs to be self-sustained, outside of Netflix, outside of Amazon. So you're not making work and you're constantly being like, oh, I really hope this producer finds it and puts it on Netflix. We don't want that anymore. You don't want to be putting the power into other people's hands. Of course, you're going to be wanting to get into festivals. You want to be screening online as parts of big screening events like the ones that we're doing for the online and stuff. That's absolutely vital. You need to be able to have the accolades in order to help push you forward. It works. It really does. But if you're not entering an industry after that process, if your film's just going online for free, you're not going to get any money back, and you're not going to be able to create a career for yourself. So the way that starts is for you to be the audience and for you to be paying first and foremost. It's very, very important. I do it all the time. We encourage our staff to do it as well. It's so important to do it that way. Okay, so keep working on those ideas, build a stable and reliable creativity engine, and remember, you are not one film. So we've covered a few workshops over the last few weeks. They'll be available on YouTube in the coming days. And in those workshops, we talk about things from directing actors to creating work that enables you to find the right type of producer, and also how to kind of like come up with ideas and really build your creativity engine. And remember, you're not one film. Engage with those videos, engage with the production accelerator that we've created as well, details of which are on our website, and just really push yourself forward and make sure that you're working specifically on your targets that are right in front of you, but you're also branching out and attending festivals that you've not got into, attending events that you aren't a part of but you want to be a part of, and actually start gaining that knowledge. And really remember that the next film will be that next drive for you. So yeah, what is that next film going to be? The Cannes Film Festival has been postponed to June or July, I think. It may be postponed further, but it will be going ahead, much like the Olympics is definitely going ahead. It will happen. And during that period of time, between now and the Cannes Film Festival happening, we want your concepts. Now, I'm not talking about short films or feature films or short films that could become concepts. Those things we are accepting as well. But what we're taking to the market this year, or whenever it's going to be happening, are A4 sheets, concepts by filmmakers like yourself, ideas that you've got either for episodic content, for films, for anything, documentaries, whatever you send to us, we want to take with us to the Cannes Film Festival. We meet so many people. We meet so many producers out and about on the Croisette at Cannes. I mean, I highly recommend that as a filmmaker you go to it, but we know you don't have the resources, so we're going to go there ourselves. So send us your concepts on A4. It's open to professional network members on the platform, so if you're watching this, you probably are already a professional member, but we'll get to that bit in a second. But send us your concepts. It just needs to be an A4 sheet of paper, an idea for what you're trying to achieve. Send it to us. There's a really great video that was made by Claire and Natalie recently. I think it was last week, and you can check it out in our channel, on the YouTube channel for the Liftoff Global Network, on this very page, and you'll be able to see what kind of stuff that they're looking for and the things that they've seen. So good EPKs and good presentation packs. But this, what I'm talking about specifically, is the kind of lower down level of it, the things that we want to really do. And we want to take as many of these concepts as we possibly can to all of the film markets that will be happening after this ridiculous situation. And the reason for that, like I say, is because we'll be meeting so many people. And so many times we get asked, do you have a film with X in it? With X, Y, Z, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever. And we're like, do we have that? You know, so for example, they might be like, a producer might say to us, well, we really want Christian-based movies right now. That's what we're looking for. And we won't have that necessarily in our bank of 10 films that we've taken to Cannes. But we might have it in one of our concepts. We might be like, hang on a minute, we actually do have a Christian-based film. Here it is. This is the concept from one of our filmmakers. Check it out, see if you're interested. And if they're interested, then that's it. We'll set a meeting up with you and the filmmaker. Well, sorry, with them and you. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go there armed to the teeth with concepts from our filmmaker members, from our members, scriptwriter members, filmmaker members, actor members, it doesn't matter. The concept is what matters. So send us your concepts, we'll put them in our concept database, and if we ever have a conversation that connects your concept to that particular producer, we will get it out and say, yo, what do you think of this? And I think it's really important that you send it to us. So how do you do that? Well, here's a little bit of information about it. So following last year's success, we are again heading to Cannes to represent the projects of our professional network members to bring them to the next step in their career. We will be meeting with over 50 sales agents, producers and VOD platforms such as Amazon and Netflix. We will. A big part of our membership entitles you to use this market service every year free of charge. So it's something that forms part of your network membership. The network membership, if you're not already a professional member, it's $189 for the year. Remember, every year we will be going to the film market. So if we don't take your short film to the Cannes Film Festival to get distribution this year, we might take it next year. We might take it in at the American film market, or you might make a short film next year that we then take. You know, this is all part of being part of our network for the foreseeable future. And $189 gets you free submissions to all of our festivals, career road mapping opportunities. You can join us here in this audience, not here, but when we eventually get to back to Pinewood, you'll be able to join us in the Pinewood audience. You get a jobs dashboard on the platform. You get film market representation at all of the major film markets, and that's $189 a year. So for the rest of your filmmaking career, you will have a representative at the major film markets: Cannes, American film market, European film market, Sundance, and potentially Toronto. We went there last year, wasn't that great, but we're always looking for opportunities within the film market landscape. So that's it. And we will take concepts like, come on, this is amazing. This is like well worth it. So all you need to do is go to liftoff.network, liftoff.network/membership to find out how you can become a member. If you are already a member, then follow the link in the description below. I'm not sure it's there right now. Hopefully one of our staff members will stick the link for sending concepts and short films and all the different things to the Cannes representation stuff in the comments any second now. They'll be posting it through, and once that goes up, you'll be able to click that link and send us your stuff if you're already a professional member. Okay, and that's it, finished. So let's have a little look and see if you guys have any questions in here. So what's the name of the book, Claire? Directing the documentary, Michael Rabinger. Yep, okay, cool. So we've got not many questions in there, that's cool. If you do have any questions after this video has been live, then please just pop them in the comments below. We will check the comments all the time, and we will really, really hope that you guys engage with us on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you at the next workshop next Friday. Take care.